Today is your class of the 4th year reproductive class. The topic is prenatal diagnosis. What do you mean by prenatal diagnosis? The learning objective of the prenatal diagnosis are, at the end of the lecture, you should be able to describe the aims of the antenatal screening, discuss the principle of antenatal screening, how we will do the antenatal screening, list the diagnostic tests, describe the procedures of the various screening tests, and list the ultrasound markers and any to diagnose the congenital abnormalities. So what do you mean by prenatal diagnosis? Means you have to diagnose the certain diseases in the early antenatal period. Okay, so antenatal screening is a public health service in which members of a defined population are asked questions or offered tests to identify the high risk of a disease and more like to be helped by further tests or treatments in order to reduce the risk of the diseases. The aims of the antenatal screening are to identify the high risk for which they need the diagnostic test, to confirm the diagnosis there is a diagnosis of the chances of the miscarriages, for counseling of the parents about the impact of the diagnosed and to enable timely medical or surgical treatment, to give the couple the choice of the termination of the pregnancy, and to allow the couple to prepare emotionally, financially, and socially for child if born with abnormality. Means what is the aims of the antenatal screening? What do you mean by screening test? What is screening test? Every test has a screening. So screening is a high prevalence of the condition, significant risk the mortality or morbidity. The natural history must be known. The screening test should be highly sensitive, specific, and cost effective and acceptable. After that screening, a diagnostic test should be available for screening positive women, facilitate for counseling, prevention, and treatment of screen positive tests should be available. So what is a screening test? A screening test basically done in every population. This is the test which should be done in a major population, for which when you will do the screening test, there should be the principle of the screening test that there's a high prevalence of the screening. You know the morbidity and mortality of the screening test. You should know the history of the patient or the population, and the screening test should be sensitive and specific. Like if you are doing a test in 1,000 population, you should know, okay, you have to evaluate the high risk from that low risk patient, and for which when you will do the screening test, you will pick up the high risk patient from that population, and there should be the diagnostic test available for that screening test in which treatment has been available. So what is the aim of this screening test? That you have to identify the high risk patient, high risk population from the low risk, for which the diagnostic test is available. And it is easy after screening test and after diagnostic test for the counseling of a couple. Like if you are doing a screening or diagnostic test in a pregnant patients, so you should know, you can know the major abnormalities, any specific diseases in the early weeks of the pregnancy. So this will be help for the counseling of the couple, for early decision for medical or surgical treatment of the patient, or any treatment which is available during the antenatal, intrapartum, postpartum period. So the antenatal screening is very important for a high risk population who have the certain genetic disorders, any other specific disease. So in a obstetrical like prenatal diagnosis, we have to screen some major diseases. Like there are the screening programs which are available in our population in developed and in the developing countries. Like the major disease is the Down syndrome. Down syndrome is very common disease which are high prevalence and incidence rate in overall the world. And as you know, the Down syndrome, as the woman ages increases up to the 35 years, and after 35 years, the risk of the Down syndrome is very high. So there is a screening program which are available for the Down syndrome to diagnose early that the baby has a Down syndrome, and we will decide, and the couple will decide either they will continue the pregnancy or not. The second one is the fetal structure abnormalities. If a fetus has a fetal structure abnormality, that it's structural deformities, it could be a genetic, and so if the structural deformities can be identified in early pregnancy, so decision is easy for a couple. The other blood disorder like sickle cell anemia and thalassemia. As you know, thalassemia is very common in our population and overall the world. And if the couple is thalassemic minor or major, of a wife or a man or a husband, so it is an easy diagnosis to do the screening program for thalassemia or for sickle cell disease to decide the baby which is in the utero is a thalasssemic minor or a thalasssemic major, and either you can terminate the pregnancy or you will continue the pregnancy. The fourth one is the infectious diseases, like if the patient or if the couple has a HIV, hepatitis B, rubella, and syphilis. So all these major abnormalities which can affect the baby, like it can like this diseases, the baby can be abnormal. There could be the genetic abnormalities, there could be the structure abnormalities, the baby could be born with a Down syndrome, and if there's an infection in a mother, in a parent, like there's a HIV progression, in HIV, it could be the anomalous baby, and if there's a hepatitis B patient, the hepatitis B is affected in the baby, and the rubella and syphilis. As you know, rubella and syphilis, it will cause if the patient has an active rubella, it will cause the major congenital abnormalities. So these screening tests are available, so we can detect early these diseases. We can do the counseling of the parent, which diseases is present in the baby, what is the survival rate, either the baby can survive if there are any other surgical procedures, the baby could be survived after the delivery. So we can decide either we can continue the pregnancy or there's a choice of the couple, he or they can terminate the pregnancy. So diagnosis, so how you will do the diagnosis of the fetal anomalies? At least minimum of the 2 ultrasound scans during the pregnancy should be necessary to diagnose the fetal anomaly. The first one is the first trimester scan. What do you mean by first trimester scan? First trimester scan is an early pregnancy scan, means within the 3 months of the pregnancy when the patient is pregnant, which is done at the 10 to 14 weeks of the pregnancy. Like if the patient is second or third month of the pregnancy, you will do the ultrasound scan at 10 to 14 weeks, in which is necessary for the dating scan. Dating scan means you have to decide the date of the delivery, and nuchal translucency. So what is nuchal translucency? Nuchal translucency is a specific marker in ultrasound which is present at the neck of the baby, nape of the neck of the baby in the ultrasound. This is a marker in ultrasound where we will see thickness of the back of the neck of the baby in the ultrasound. There is a measurement how much it should be present in a normal baby. If the measurement is exceeded above the normal parameter, then it means there is an increased nuchal translucency. The increased nuchal translucency in the ultrasound, so it means the baby is suspicious of that he or she could be the Down. So first screening is a diagnosis of the fetal anomaly, which is done as the 10 to 14 weeks in an ultrasound department, in which we will decide the date of the delivery, dating scan, also the this is the anti-test nuchal translucency. Then the further ultrasound will be done at the 18 to 22 weeks of the pregnancy, like in a at the end of the 5th month, okay? In the 5th month of the pregnancy, at the end of, you will do the anomaly scan. You will specifically write the anomaly, means you have to diagnose the major structure abnormalities in the ultrasound, that you have to see the scalp of the baby. If there is a hydrocaph and anencaph of the baby, you will see the major structural bones of the baby. If there is any skeletal deformity, skeletal dysplasia, you will see the major organs of the baby, like the fetal heart. If the heart is abnormal, the stomach, and all the major organs of the baby. If there's any abnormality of the stomach, in the abdomen of the baby, so you can diagnose the fetal structure abnormalities at the 18 to 22 weeks of the structure of the ultrasound scan. So you will diagnose the abnormal baby at least 2 scan at the early 10 to 14 weeks. Then you can wait up to the 18 to 22 weeks of the pregnancy, which is the major anomaly scan, in which you have to decide if there is a major structure abnormalities of the baby, or if there is a suspicion of the Down syndrome. So either you can continue the pregnancy or you can terminate the pregnancy, because at the end of the pregnancy, the anomaly cannot be detected 100%. So you have to decide, you have to do the anomaly ultrasound at the 18 to 22 weeks of the pregnancy. So this is one of the screening tests of the every patient. So what will be the specific Down syndrome screening test? If you are suspicious of the Down syndrome screening test, you will do the risk assessment based on these tests. This is the anti-test. What is nuchal translucency test, which is the ultrasound test you will do at 10 to 14 weeks of the pregnancy. Okay, there are 3 tests available. Plus, number 1 risk factor is a maternal age. If the age is 35 or more than 35, this is a 1 risk factor. Plus, you will do the nuchal translucency at first trimester scan. If the 2 things are positive, then this is the risk of having a Down syndrome. Further screening will be by the Corder-Lip test. Corder-Lip test is done as the 14 to 20 weeks of the pregnancy, which is a blood test. There is a combination of the blood test, which is the maternal age. First risk factor is the age, plus alpha fetoprotein. Alpha fetoprotein basically is a tumor marker which is secreted in our blood. So it will be done by the blood of the test will be done by the blood of the mother, not the baby. Okay, in utero. So you will take the blood at 14 to 20 weeks of the pregnancy of the mother. If the mother has an age of the 30 or 35, the risk of the Down syndrome, then you will do the alpha fetoprotein and unconjugated estriol test, and plus beta HCG and plus inhibin A. These are all the blood tests. These are the tumor markers which is secreted in the blood of the pregnant woman. If these parameters are high, then there is a risk of the Down syndrome, and this is known as the Corder-Lip test. There is also one test available. This is known as the combined test. The combined test is also done at the 10 to 14 weeks of the pregnancy. This test has a maternal age plus nuchal translucency, which is the ultrasound marker, and beta HCG, and plus PAP A test. This is also a blood test. PAPP, what is mean? The pregnancy associated plasma protein. These are the blood tests which is positive in the blood of the maternal blood. If the 3 things are present, it could be 4 things are present. This is the combined test. It is a highly sensitive value. Combined test you can do at the 10 to 40 weeks of the pregnancy. There are other one test which is the integrated test, in which there is a maternal age plus nuchal translucency plus PAP A test first trimester. But usually we will do the risk assessment basic on the nuchal translucency and the combined test. And these tests are available in our setup, in our Karachi, in our developing countries. So basic, there is a combined test for the Down syndrome combined test, which is done as a 10 to 14 weeks of the pregnancy, maternal age plus nuchal translucency plus beta HCG plus PAP-A. It is the detection rate is 85%. If these tests is positive, the sensitivity of the test is 85%, and false positive rate is 2.2% only. Means if you are doing the screening for Down syndrome, and you can do these tests, which is not costly, easily available. So the deduction rate of the Down syndrome is 85%. Means you can deduct the high risk cases in 85% if you are doing the combined test. So recommended test, as it is a single test stage procedure and most cost effective and simple. Cost effective means it is not very expensive. It is easily available. You can do the blood test of the woman and with maternal age and plus ultrasound, which you are done at the 10 to 14 days of the pregnancy. If the things are positive, then you can demarcation that the patient maybe has a Down syndrome. Then you will go for the diagnostic test. It's like because you cannot do diagnostic tests in every patient of the population. Okay. So what will be the diagnostic test? Now, the diagnostic test is a chorionic villus sampling, which is known as the CVS, and amniocentesis. So what is chorion? We will answer the questions after ending the lecture, okay, on the chart. So what is a chorionic test? Okay. What is chorionic villus sampling? CVS. Chorion. What is chorion? Basically, chorion is a placenta. Placenta, and villus means placental tissue. You have to take the sample tissues of the placenta in antenatal. This is the chorionic villus sampling. And second one is the amniocentesis. What do you mean by amniocentesis? Amniotic cavity in the pregnancy. There is an amniotic cavity. There is an amniotic fluid. You have to take the amniotic fluid sample and send for the laboratory for the diagnosis of these syndromes for genetic disorders. So when you have done the screening test and the screening test is positive for certain diseases like for the Down syndrome, then you will go for the diagnostic test, which is known as the chorionic villus sampling and amniocentesis. So how you will do the counseling for how you will do the diagnostic test? First of all, you have to counsel the couple because the diagnostic test is an invasive test. The above the screening tests are the non-invasive tests, but the diagnostic tests are the invasive tests in which the patient is pregnant. So you have to counsel before going for the diagnostic test that this is a non-directional counseling, risk of the aneuploidy. Option, there is no test available other than these diagnostic tests, and how you will do it, where you will do it, what are the procedure, risk of the miscarriages because you are doing the invasive test, okay, risk of the other complication, and when the result available, and what is the management option if you are going to do the invasive test in a pregnant patient. So will the management could be available? What can be the complication? You have to take the risk for diagnosing the baby, okay, and there are no other options for other than a diagnostic test. So you have to do the proper counseling of proper documentation before going for the diagnostic test. So first of all, we will go for the chorionic villus sampling. Chorionic villus sampling is a CVS, and this is basically the taking the sampling of the placental tissues. So which is done at the 11 to 14 weeks of the pregnancy. Means you have to done at third month, at the end of the third month of the pregnancy. As you know, it is very sensitive time. There is a risk of the miscarriages and the early trimester in the first trimester of the pregnancy. So how you will do it? You will can do it from the transabdominal approach and the transcervical. Basically, it is done with the transabdominal and the ultrasound guided. You should call the patient in the ultrasound department where all the major aseptic technique and skilled person should be available. Okay? And it should not be done before 10 weeks of the pregnancy due to the risk of the fetal limb destruction, because in the 10 weeks of the pregnancy, the baby is so small. So you will do the 11 to 14 weeks of the pregnancy. Okay. And there is a 1% of the miscarriages rate in a chorionic villus sampling. This is the picture. As you know, this is the patient. This is the patient abdomen. And the roundwood is a gestational sac with a baby inside it because there is a small baby. You will go through abdominal ultrasound guided. Without this is a probe. So you cannot do blindly, because you have to see the placenta. You have to take the sample of the placenta. You can you will put the patient on an ultrasound probe. Then you will pass the needle, fine needle, through abdomen of the mother up to the placenta reach. Then you will, this is a special needle which is available, okay, under aseptic technique without any anesthesia. Only you can do the local anesthesia over the abdomen, and you will pass through a fine needle which is specialized for the chorionic villus sample. You will go through to placenta, and you will then do the suction of the placental tissue and take it out. Okay, so this is the chorionic villus sampling. So what can be the dangerous point during the chorionic villus sampling? Because there is a risk of the abruption, but risk of the miscarriages, but there only the 1% risk of the miscarriage. But you have to take the counseling of the couple that there is a chance of the miscarriage, but we have to diagnose the baby. So then you will take the sample of the chorionic villus and send to the laboratory for the genetic diagnosis of the Down syndrome, sickle cell disease, thalassemia, and other diseases or other structural abnormalities to the laboratory for confirmation of the any abnormality, so the couple can be decided. The second one test is the amniocentesis. Amniocentesis, what is amniocentesis? Amniocentesis can be done after 15 weeks of the pregnancy. 15 weeks means you can done in a 4th month of the pregnancy. So it is safer than the early weeks of the pregnancy. It is also a transabdominal procedure. You have to pass the needle, and there is a 15 to 20 ml of the amniotic fluid is required for any investigation. This should be done in an aseptic condition. As you know the picture, this is the abdomen. You will do the aseptic technique. You have to scrub the abdomen with the pyodine, and then it is also ultrasound guided, and miscarriages rate is also 1%. Okay. And you can the result can be given in 3 days for the PCR technique. So there is the early detection can be occur. This is a picture and this is a procedure. Sorry, मैं आप लोगों को थोड़ा सा स्क्रीन में प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है इस वजह से. Amniocentesis. Okay, this is the abdomen. This is the ultrasound probe. This is the amniotic cavity. The baby is now slightly bigger than the 11 to 14 weeks of the pregnancy. Now the baby is 15 to 16 weeks of the pregnancy. The blue one is the amniotic fluid. Under ultrasound probe, you will pass the needle under aseptic technique into the abdomen of the mother, then into the amniotic cavity. And then you will suck out the 15 to 20 ml of the amniotic fluid, and then will send for the different genetic test. And you can do the PCR, and you can PCR, you can do the investigate the thalassemia, the sickle cell disease. Like in a thalassemia, there is a chances of the hydros fetalis, which is lethal. So, or the HIV, hepatitis B, and other Down syndrome. So these are the non-invasive tests which is available in the chorionic villus samples and amniocentesis for diagnosis of the congenital abnormalis baby. Okay. There is also the one non-invasive genetic testing which is now available in our country, which is known as the CFF-DNA, which is known as the cell-free fetal DNA. This is a new test which is non-invasive, which is done by the maternal blood. You have to take only the blood sample of the mother, and then it will send for the laboratory for the diagnosis of the Down syndrome. Cell-free fetal DNA means कि fetal DNA is secreted into the maternal blood, and you can pick up through the maternal blood. The beauty of this test that this is non-invasive. Only you have to take the blood sample. ठीक है? But this test is available right now, but it is very expensive. So cost is expensive. But the sensitivity rate of this test is more than 90%. So you have to counsel the couple कि either you can go for the amniocentesis or chorionic villus sampling, which is invasive test. There is a risk of the miscarriage, but there is also the one test available. The sensitivity is good, and you have to do only the blood sample. We can diagnose the Down syndrome, the other abnormalities, but this is very costly, and in certain places is available. So basically this is will depend upon the choice of the couple. So ultrasound screening for fetal anomalies, as you know, routine anomalies can occur at 18 to 22 weeks of the pregnancy. The detection rate of the anomaly scan is 45 to 75%. Means there is a range which is very big. You can detect up to that percentage the major structure abnormality, but not 100%. And detection rate depends on the type of the anomaly. Which anomaly? If there is a major structure abnormality that you can diagnose easily on ultrasound, the hydrocaph, NNCAF, if the baby skull is not formed, there is a diaphragmatic hernia, omphalocele, spina bifida, like different structure abnormalities, skeletal dysplasia, fetal ascites. But which type? If there is some genetic abnormality, you cannot detect. And if you can detect on a simple anomaly scan the fetal heart abnormality, then you can go for the fetal echocardiography, which is done at the 22 weeks of the pregnancy. And the detection rate depends on the gestational age. Which gestational age? If you are going to anomaly scan after 22 weeks of the pregnancy, like in the 7th or 8th month of the pregnancy, so you cannot diagnose the correct anomaly at late scan. So that's why the anomaly scan should be done at the 18 to 22 weeks of the pregnancy. And a skill of the sonologist, skilled person, and the quality of your instrument, how the ultrasound machine. So the anomaly scan depend on these criteria. So this is not the 100%, but the detection rate is 45 to 75%. Then this is a basically summary. The mid-trimester ultrasound markers, soft markers that you have done, the nuchal skin edema, या nuchal skin translucency, short femur, short humerus, choroid plexus cyst आपको मिल रही है, या in ultrasound bilateral renal pelvic dilatation, echogenic bowel, hyperechoic foci. These are all the ultrasound markers which is done in an anomaly scan. If you can found these abnormal thing in an ultrasound, then this is a suspicion that the baby is anomalous. So how you will go for the management of the congenital anomaly? If like suppose you will do you have a suspicion that the mother age is 35 and you have a suspicion because this is a high risk for the Down syndrome. You have done the screening test, a combined test in which there is a positive, and then you will go for the diagnostic test, either the cell-free diagnosis which is available, or either by the chronic villus sampling or the amniotic fluid sampling. If you have found the anomalous, then how you will manage the anomalous baby? First of all, the counseling. You have to break the news, because this is a sad news to the couple that the baby is anomalous. So you have to do the breaking of the news. You should be very empathetic to the couple. You should talk with the couple. Okay, what is the type of the abnormality that you have found in these diagnoses on a screening test? Okay, what could be the possible treatment? Okay, what could be the probable outcome of the baby? And when will be the timing and the mode of the delivery depend on the anomaly. Okay, how you will terminate the pregnancy, and if the baby is anomalous, and if you are going to continue the pregnancy, you will involve the pediatric surgeon and specialized neonatologist. Means if you are found that the Down syndrome, some parents wants to continue the pregnancy, so you should tell the couple what are the complication of the Down syndrome baby. If the couple wants to continue the pregnancy, then you will involve the pediatrician, and then you will do the planned delivery, planned cesarean section, whatever the couple want, and you will tell the outcome of the baby and what could be the possible complication and what could be the life after the delivery of the Down syndrome baby. And like if there is a hydrocephalus, like big size head of the baby, so what could be the complication? Hydrocephalus and CSF is accumulated in a head, the baby survival. If there is a major hydrocephalus, the outcome of the baby is not good. Maybe there is a death of the baby in the utero, which is IUD. And how you will terminate the baby if the head size is too big, either the baby can be delivered vaginally or you go for the cesarean section. Okay, so you have to decide according to the anomaly of the baby. Certain structural abnormalities are like this, in which there is surgery is possible. If there is only the diaphragmatic hernia of the baby or no other major abnormality, the surgery could be possible after the delivery of the baby. So in these cases, you have to counsel the couple. You have to refer the patient to the highly tertiary care hospital where the fetal medicine is available. Either the planned delivery, after delivery, immediate nursery care, and immediate surgery of the baby. So you will involve the pediatric surgeon in these cases. So by these tests, you can diagnose the certain anomalies. So it is very easy for a couple to decide either terminate or continue the pregnancy. Like in thalassemia, as you know, thalassemia is very common. How you will diagnose the thalassemia? First of all, you will go for the complete blood picture. Okay, then in a complete blood picture, there are certain markers in which you will decide the hemoglobin electrophoresis. Hemoglobin electrophoresis is a diagnostic test for the thalassemia. If the mother has a thalassemia minor and the father is a thalassemia minor, then you will go, as you know, there is a chances of the 50% of the normal baby. This is an autosomal disease. 50% of the normal baby, 25% of the major thalassemia minor. Sorry, 50% is a carrier, 25% in a normal, and 25% in a major. So you have to detect the thalassemic major babies. You will go for the assemblies or amniocentesis for the diagnosis. If the baby is found to be thalassemic major in a CVS, then you can decide, the couple can decide that the termination of the pregnancy could be allowed. But if the baby is thalassemic minor, you can continue the pregnancy because the thalassemic minor is not a life-threatening disease. The life could be normal, only there is an anemia issue, or otherwise there is no life-threatening disorder. So by these diagnostic tests, you can assess the certain diseases. So it is easy for continuation of the pregnancy and the termination of the pregnancy. Okay. So any other question? Any question regarding the presentation? Is a screening for Down syndrome offered to all mothers or when a specific feature is seen? No. Is screening at a Down syndrome? Hello?
जी मैडम, जी डॉक्टर नाजिया
जी, मैं क्वेश्चन ये चैट पे ले रही हूँ.
जी जी जी, चैट ओपन है
ना?
जी मैडम.
हाँ, ऑन है, मेरा ऑन है. So the question is the screening for Down syndrome offered to all mothers or when a specific feature is seen? No. First of all, the first screening indication is a woman age. If there's an age is more than 35, there's a risk of the Down syndrome is very increased. So woman age, then you will go for the, or any other family history. Maybe the family history of the Down syndrome, and the woman age is more than 35, then you will go for the screening test like the combined test, the early 10 to 14 weeks nuchal translucency, then the 2 blood tests which I have told you. If these tests are positive, the markers are increased, then the cutoff value, then you will go for the diagnostic cell, or either the self-free DNA test if the patient is affording, or either can go for the CVS, not the every woman. Okay. Can you hear me? Any other questions? Any other questions? हेलो.
नहीं मैडम, कोई भी क्वेश्चन नहीं है अभी तक तो.
एक आया अभी क्वेश्चन. Question is in CVS, what does confined placenta mosaicism means? Okay. What do you mean mosaicism? Means mosaicism is a genetic basically study in which maybe the patient is positive for that disease, but there is a mosaic gene is present which can be hide the original defective gene. So in CVS there is a mosaicism. The chances, every test has some drawback, like there's a risk of the miscarriages, and there could be the mosaicism. Like if the patient has a Down syndrome, there is a Down syndrome gene in a genetic disease, in a genetic study, but there's the exit genes in that which is hide the original gene. So there is a chances of the mosaicism. There could be the false negative result. Okay. The patient has a disease, but it is not showing in your test. So there are the chances of the false negative. Okay, should we end the presentation and any other questions? If you have a question, please chat me, or otherwise I will leave the presentation. No questions? Either everyone is understood the topic or not. Chorion does not have same. Maybe there is a chances of the mosaicism ना false है. आप कितना % था उसका 75% था ना, तो chances तो है ना false negative के, not false negative. So you have to counseling कि maybe not the sampling failed. Sampling failed नहीं, there is every test has some error ना. Not every test is a 100% test. Like the cell-free DNA test is also the 90%, not the 100%. So there's the chances of also the false negative in every test. So you have to counsel the patient. There could be the sampling, not sampling failed, the test, the sensitivity of the test. Okay. Okay. ठीक है वैसा. Hello.
Okay, madam. Take care. Allah Hafiz.
Okay जी. Okay जी. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.